guys, what's up? It's Rachel, episode number 3, and as promised, we've got some delicious, luxurious mac and cheese. Now, even though it's good to indulge every once in a while, this is still a super light and absolutely delicious mac and cheese. So, if we come over right here, I've got just a little bit of oil in the bottom of our pan. I'm going to add in some very finely diced onions. Oh yeah, that's what you like to hear right there. Beautiful sound. Alright, so go ahead and get these going. You just want to give them a little shake. Beautiful. Alright, so while those are sizzling away, I want to talk about our cheese. We've got a couple different kinds here. First of all, I've got some nice sharp cheddar that I've just left in slices. And then I've got some Munster, which I really like because it gives it just a little bite. And it also melts really nicely, so we've got a nice thick melty sauce. And then I've got just some regular cheddar as well. And I like the mixture of the regular and the sharp because the sharp is very pungent and the regular gives it that beautiful orange color that we all know and love about mac and cheese. And my secret ingredient is a little sour cream. Now, if you wanted to lighten this up even more, you can absolutely go with some Greek yogurt or even just some plain yogurt. But I love this because it makes it super creamy and we get that beautiful velvety finish that everyone loves. So, come on over here. And we can see these are sizzling along beautifully. So right here, looks like our water should be boiling. Beautiful. Now I'm going to add in about half a box. I'm just using macaroni pasta, your favorite brand. Something else that works really well is either a penne or a rigatoni. This could also be an awesome Alfredo sauce with some fettuccine. So whatever you like. So go ahead and pour in half a box. And here is the best secret for pasta, I'm telling you. First of all, we've got some salted water. It's really important for getting that flavor into the pasta. And next, using a whisk or any spoon, you really want to mix it well. Hold on, we got a phone call in the house. Thanks, Dad. Alright, so the secret to pasta, and I learned this at a young age, is you have to mix it for at least 30 seconds right after you put it in, because what happens is the starches come out of the pasta and cause it to stick together. So even if you were to add an olive oil or butter into your water, it's still going to stick because those starches like to attract. So you want to mix that, and we're going to set the timer for 7.5 minutes, and we're good to go with that. So looking over here at our beautiful onions, those are coming along great. So I'm going to let those finish caramelizing, and when we get back, we're going to get started on our sauce. I'll see you in a minute. Alright, hey guys, what's up? I am taking out our beautiful onions. Now, when you're making a bechamel or a cheese sauce, you want to caramelize your onions or brown them without getting too much color. So see how we've got a little color on here, but they're not all dark? That's because we don't want them to stand out too much in our sauce, but brown is flavor, so we want to get a little bit of that. So right here, I'm just heating up the same pan on medium-low, and I'm going to go ahead and add in about half to a whole tablespoon of butter right in there, and go ahead and let that melt down. It's nice and hot, so that'll happen pretty fast. And now this is what is called a roux. So it's basically our thickening agent for the sauce, and it's super important that we let the butter completely melt. You don't want to have any lumps. Alright, so that looks beautiful. And now we're adding in equal parts of flour. So I've got a tablespoon of flour. I'm using wheat, that's just what I had on hand, but white is, of course, great. Now, the secret to this is you really need to mix it until it kind of resembles peanut butter. Not necessarily in the color, but just in the texture of it, because we want to cook out that, that floury taste and make sure also that we have no lumps. So, we're just going to finish cooking them out. And you can see it's starting to come together, and this is going to be an awesome thickener for our sauce, just because the flour is going to allow us to get some extra starch in there and really thicken it. Alright, so you can see it does not take very long at all, and we have peanut butter as our roux. So that looks awesome. If you have a few onions left over, no problem. So now we're going to add a cup of milk. I've got skim, but you can add in any kind of milk that you have on hand. Another sizzle. I love it. Alright, that looks awesome. And you want to mix this in until the roux is completely combined. And what's going to happen is it's going to start to melt into the milk which is exactly what you want. So it looks a little chunky right now, and what's going to happen is the milk is going to heat the butter and allow it to melt completely into our sauce. Alright, fantastic. Now this is going to need to thicken on about, perfect, our pasta's done. This is going to need to thicken for about 3 to 4 minutes until when you take some on your spoon and you run your finger down the back, it doesn't fill up again with milk. So we'll be back in a second. I'm going to go ahead and drain our pasta, and then we're going to finish up our sauce. Alright, our milk is looking beautiful and thickened, absolutely gorgeous. This is the time that it's going to take a little while, but it really only took like about 5 minutes. You can see it's nice and thick and creamy and gorgeous. So now we're going to go ahead and add in our lovely onions back in. And the great thing about doing our roux in the same pan as the onions is we get that delicious flavor from when we sauteed the onions. So go ahead and combine those, and now it's time for some spices. So starting off, we got, of course, some fresh cracked black pepper. And this is also really beautiful because you can see the little specks of black in the sauce, and it's awesome. Of course, just a pinch of salt, a little over the shoulder. Then I like to do a little garlic powder to get some of that nice bright flavor in there. And the secret to any awesome mac and cheese is a little bit of nutmeg. Now, if you have fresh at home, that is absolutely awesome. I use about 1/8 teaspoon. You really don't need too much, and it just brightens up the whole dish, and it makes you think, what is that? It's a little warm, it's a little fuzzy, it's kind of like an apple pie. That's what you would think of, and it's awesome with the cheese. So let's go ahead and mix that all up. You don't want to get any on your spoon. Beautiful. Oh, that is just smelling so good. Gorgeous. Okay. So nice and thick. Now a tiny bit of Worcestershire as well. Again, about 1/8 teaspoon, maybe 1/4. Come on. Alright. So I did about 5 drops. Really, again, not a lot. And it just adds in this little flavor that you're not quite sure what it is, but you just know it works. Gorgeous. Alright, so this is now super duper thick and delicious. I have it on medium-low heat. It's time to add in the cheese. So with your slices, I just like to rip it up a little bit. Again, I brought this down to room temperature. It helps it melt very easily. And you also don't want to bring down the temperature of the sauce by adding in a bunch of cold cheese. So this is starting to come to a boil, which is gorgeous. Now all of our shredded cheese, looking gorgeous. Alright, so you want to mix this, and you want to really mix until everything is combined. And it's going to take a minute for this all to melt down, and when it does, it's going to be gorgeous, and we got that bright orange color in there. And now the best thing about making mac and cheese at home is that it's so natural, and you control how much salt is in there, how much pepper, how much everything. Alright, so you can see this is just like ooey gooey deliciousness. If you have any clumps in there from the cheese, just give it a second. Those will be gone with the heat. And now our little finishing touch, a little sour cream. Now trust me, you can never have too much cheese in mac and cheese, but I really think the cream brightens it up without you having to make the roux with heavy cream. So about a tablespoon is going to go in there. Gorgeous. And this is also going to melt really quickly, and it's going to give us that extra bit of creaminess and make it like this luscious, almost Velveeta-like texture, which is exactly what we want. Alright, so now that everything is nice and melted, come take a look at this sauce. Looking so beautiful. Look how thick it is. Gorgeous. Now, again, we want to let this thicken a little bit. Of course, we don't want to burn the cheese, so I'm just going to let that sit for about 5 minutes on low heat, and it's going to start to bubble around the edges, and that's when you know you're good to go. We'll add in our pasta, and we'll be finished in a second. Alright guys, final step of our pasta. Finally, it's time to eat some mac and cheese. So, on our break, I went ahead and took a little bit of potato starch and mixed it with just a few drops of water. It's a really great thickener for any sauce, really, especially this one. It brings it all together. It's absolutely fantastic. So, come look at this. I went ahead and added our cheese sauce to our pasta. Look at that. Gorgeous. Alright, so now this is the perfect sauce amount for about 1/3 of the box to almost 3/4 of the box, anywhere from that range. My family loves a really cheesy mac and cheese, So I used about half of the box. But this could really stretch for an entire box of pasta and feed the whole family. So it's perfect. Now I want to give this a try and make sure it doesn't need any seasoning. Right on. The cheese is coming through. We're getting a little bit of the salt, some of the Worcestershire, and the nutmeg just makes it really warm and brings out the flavor of the cheese beautifully. It's perfect. Alright guys, so that's it for this mac and cheese. I hope you'll tune in next week when we make blueberry cookies. I'm so excited with a little bit of lemon in there. It's going to be gorgeous. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe. I'll see you next time.